Hi, boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day. I love talking about snowmen, and I know you just did an activity about Sneezy the snowman, didn't you? You sequenced the events of the story, and then you did a little bit of cause and effect while you were doing that, and finally, you should have written a new ending to that story. Today, I have another snowman activity for you, but this activity has to do with a poem. It's called My Winter Friend. Listen as I read it to you. One morning I went out to see a world of white in front of me. So I rolled 3 balls and stacked them up, rounded the sides with a push and a jump. I put on a top hat, a scarf, and a face. I named my winter friend and gave him an embrace. I hope that you will stay for a while. Oh, snowman, you have made me smile. I hope you're smiling right now. Think about a snowman, and if you were to build one, what would you name him? Oh, how would he look? Tomorrow, you may be doing a snowman craft where you name your own snowman and get to build him. But for today, I'd like you to focus on this poem. Now, when we read a poem, we know that there are always rhyming words at the end. So, my first direction, if you look at the little box at the bottom, it says complete the following tasks. And the first one says highlight the rhyming words. Well, in your packet of materials, you should have gotten a yellow highlighter. We are in first grade now and we are using big kid materials, aren't we? Yes, we're learning how to go back into the text and use our highlighter. Now, when I highlight, it doesn't mean I color. It means I just very carefully go over the word or words that I want to emphasize. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to highlight this direction. Okay? And I'd like you to do the same on your paper. So I highlighted the direction that says highlight the rhyming words. Now, this poem is tricky because it doesn't have rhyming words all the way down like some poems. Some of them sound like rhyming words, but they're really not. So you have to pay very close attention to the ending of each word. So if I read the beginning of this poem, one morning I went out to see a world of white in front of me. Well, guess what? See and me rhyme. Notice how I highlight just those words like that. That's the only one I'm going to do for you. I want you to find the rest in your poem and highlight them. Another thing I'd like you to notice is sometimes we have rhyming words, but they don't always end the same when we spell them. They just sound the same. So, again, a tricky little thing for you to pay attention to while you're doing this. Now, my second direction says circle the sight words. So, I have my pretty blue pen here. You can use whatever color you want. I'm going to go through and circle some sight words. Well, guess what? A very easy one that I see is this one right here. I. Oh, I'm not going to give you a lot of information on sight words because you should be practicing them. Now, if you want, you can go back into the weekly update, look at the list of rainbow words, and you'll get to see all of the sight words that we have been learning. There are also sight words in Lincoln Learning that are highlighted in this color teal on one of the slides in the weekly update. So you can look at that as well as you go through your poem. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to circle the sight words. Do you see how I circled the word circle? It's really important when you're following directions to make sure that you remember exactly what to do. And there are different little techniques that will help you do that. Next week, you'll be doing some CUCC directions, and that is when we will be looking at how to follow instructions and how to remind our brains of what those instructions are. So here's a little start. The last thing is so easy. Draw a picture to illustrate. So you know what? You can draw right down here at the bottom, draw a little picture of what your snowman would look like if you really had this winter friend. Now, if we were in class, I would have you color these words up top. I would have you color the pattern around the sides and just make it your best work ever because this is probably something that you would be doing in centers. All right, so once you have this done, I want you to flip it over. And on this side, This is called a cloze activity, and it means it gives you some of the words, but not all of the words. You have to think in your head, what word would make sense there? So you could flip your paper back over and cheat, couldn't you? If you really get stuck, that is fine to do. But I want you to think about what you believe goes in the blank before you flip it over. Now, I have to take this opportunity to tell you that when I taught in the classroom, I would challenge my first graders to try and memorize the poem that we were doing that week. And you cannot believe how many of them practiced it so that they could get up in front of the class and show that they knew all the words in the poem without looking. It was amazing. So I challenge you, if you would like to try and practice this poem all week, go ahead and do that. And if you do and you want to recite it, you could always do that in our morning meeting in front of the class, okay? So that's a little challenge for all of you that like to think at high levels. Now, again, this activity is a cloze activity, so I would read this line. One morning, I went out to see a world of blank in front of me. I think that word might be white, a world of white, because everything was white with snow. Let me double check and see if I'm right on white. You get it? Right and white. They both rhyme, but they are spelled differently. Oh, I was correct. Here it is, white. So I'm going to take my pencil, and you will use I'm going to use a marker, but you'll use your pencil, and write here very neatly. I'm not scribbling. My writing looks exactly like the writing in the poem, doesn't it? That's how I want you to also write yours, okay? Try to print it neatly in the same size. All right, and you will go down through the poem, and you will fill in all the blanks. Now, if you look way down here at the bottom to help you, the words that are missing are actually listed down there. So now that I use the word white, I can come down here and I can put a little check mark beside it. And I know that white will not be one of the words in the blank. Another thing you could do is if you don't know a word, keep reading through the poem and you might get other words. So then you would only have a few left in your box and you can do process of elimination. That means you can look at all the words that you eliminated and you might be able to figure out what goes in the blank. So 2 challenges for you. 1, memorize. See if you can memorize that poem. And 2, go ahead and challenge yourself to fill in all the blanks in the cloze activity without looking at the other side. I know you're going to do a great job. Have lots of fun, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow for our snowman activity. And this is where you actually get to do the snowman craft. Have a great day and make me proud, just like you always do. Bye, first grade.